My name is Uhuru Mofokeng and welcome to the South African Book Review Sessions, your online political book club where everything political literature is dissected, vivisected and eviscerated. When we started this channel, we promised to review a book each and every single day. Guys, we've reviewed that decision and we have seen that will cause a burnout between myself and you, the viewers. So instead, we'll just be doing a couple of videos each and every week with a minimum of 4 videos per week. What are we doing today? Before that, there's a subscribe button there. Yes, that subscribe button. Go ahead and click on it. By clicking on that subscribe button, you're not going to incur any extra cost. I repeat, by clicking on that subscribe button, you're not going to incur any extra cost. So go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Secondly, and importantly, by clicking on that subscribe button, you're making sure that you don't miss out on any contents coming from this channel. You don't miss out on the book reviews. You don't miss out on the recommendations. You don't miss out on any of your favorite books being reviewed or being recommended. So go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And guys, today we're celebrating our first month on YouTube. Yay! Now, this is so interesting because it's our first month. This is our 26th video. And we've done 26 videos. We have about 180 subscribers. And yeah, we're getting there. So go ahead, click on that subscribe button, tell your friends, hey, there's a big channel, click, and let's grow together. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you very much. You guys mean the world to me. It is because of you that we continue doing this regardless, without fail, come on guys, you're not going to be deterred by a simple few glitches. Thank you very much for your support. You're the best. So what are we doing today? Today we're doing the best 5 essay collection books you'll find in South Africa. The best 5 essay collection books you'd find within the South African political sphere. Now let's start. Our number 5 is Govan Mpegi's Learning from Robben Island, compiled by Collins Bundy. Collins Bundy compiled this Govan Mpegi, Learning from Robben Island. It's a collection of essays by Govan Mpegi which were written during his incarceration in Robben Island. Remember, Govan Mpegi was one of the Rivonia accused individuals, and he was sentenced alongside Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Ray Mhlaba, Andrew Mlangeni, Dennis Goldberg. So he wrote this collection of his writings from prison. No, the man was a sharp man. He was sharp ideologically and politically. The man was so above. The disadvantage of this book, it's just going to take you time. It's written in proper English. The man had a serious vocabulary, he had a broad vocab, and as such, it's a great book. It covers a vast number of topics, like for example, some of the topics it covers here. He had a serious love for cooperatives and farming and shops. So he writes about those things, like a post-apartheid South Africa, how he imagined it and how he wanted the ANC to move towards that particular juncture. He writes about that. It's compiled by Collins Bundy. Govan Mpegi, Learning from Robben Island, is at number 5. At number 4, it's also a Kwela Productions, Oliver Tambo Speaks. Book was initially released in 1987. It was re-released I think in 2015 by Kwela Books. It's a fantastic book. It's a compilation of the writings and speeches of Oliver Tambo. Guys, this book will give you an idea who Oliver Tambo is. Obviously, Oliver Tambo was a smart guy. If he could keep the ANC intact for over 25 years during its days in exile, he had to be a sharp mind. This book takes you into a trip into his very sharp mind, how he perceived apartheid, how he perceived the world, and how he perceived a post-apartheid South Africa, the ideas of of Oliver Tambo and his views are thoroughly collected in this book. It's a beautiful book with a proper foreword by former President Thabo Mbeki. Guys, it's Oliver Tambo Speaks. It's at number 4. Beautiful book. At number 3, it's a best read production in 2018 release. It is titled Africa's Cause Must Triumph, the collected writings of A.P. Mda. Guys, this book blew me away. Like it blew me away. It took me off my comfort zone. I enjoyed reading this book. Now, what makes this book interesting is it is not a great book only for the African National Congress comrades or those who affiliate to the ANC or sympathetic to the African National Congress or the mass democratic movement in its entirety. This is a fantastic book even for those who belong to the Pan-Africanist Congress school of thought, to those who are members of the Economic Freedom Fighters or any other black organization. This is a fantastic book because these are the ideas. This is how the intellect of those days, like one of the best intellects of those days, viewed apartheid and the reaction by the liberation movement, the shortcomings by the liberation movement, the challenges. It's well documented here. And it does not only write about the ANC. He's a man who eventually in his life had serious sympathies for the Pan-Africanist Congress. So reading this book, you'll get a better glimpse of both the African National Congress and the Pan-Africanist Congress. It is a beautiful book, guys. I enjoyed reading this book. It was compiled by Robert Edgar and Luyanda Msibza. Africa's Cause Must Triumph, the collected writings of A.P. Mda, at number 3. At number 2, it's also going back to Kwela Productions. It's a Kwela book. Now, it was initially released, I think, in 1996, and it was re-released sometime in 2014. It is a great book. It is arguably one of my favorite books here. It's also written by the same authors who wrote this book. It's who compiled this book. No, it's not. They didn't write this. They compiled. The authors who compiled this book and are the same people who compiled this book. It's Robert Edgar and Luyanda Msibza. They compiled this book, Anton Lamberte, Freedom in Our Lifetime. This book becomes one of the most interesting books in this whole series because the person who wrote most of these articles, the person who wrote all of these articles died in 1947. But almost all of these articles still have serious relevance in present day. Like, he writes about the role of the African National Congress. What is the African National Congress Youth League? Its role and what position it's supposed to occupy within society. It talks about young people and how much proactive they need to be in order to alter the fate of the country and the fate of their lives. It is an incredible book. It's evergreen. The contents here have stood the test of time. This book has the essays and the contents here are over 70 years old, but they're still very relevant today. Matter of fact, if it were by me, this would be a compulsory book to read if you have an interest of leading the African National Congress. Compiled by Robert Edgar and Luyanda Msibza is Anton Lamberte, Freedom in Our Lifetime, in second place. Before we move to our number 1, this is a book by Frantz Fanon, Comrades of the African National Congress. Stop quoting Frantz Fanon only in one chapter of this book. Please go and read this book. There are plenty of quotes you can come up. You are tiring a very important quote. Out of opacity, generation must discover its mission, betray to fulfill. Guys, please, that quote is getting exhausted. It is an important quote, but it's getting exhausted because it is being used out of context, and it is the only thing we hear comrades say by Frantz Fanon. So I'm requesting comrades, read comrades. Also, this is an interesting book. I'm not advertising Kwela books. I don't get paid. They probably don't know me, and they probably don't give a flying rat's ass about me. But then, guys, read this book. Number 1 in the best essay collection book in South Africa. I believe this is the book. Letters to My Comrades, Interventions and Excursions. It was compiled by his own comrades, and it's Z Paulo Jordan, guys. For me, I bought this book after the incident of his exposure, not having a PhD. But, excuse me, I love this book. It has changed my opinion. And I believe many myths being told how Paulo got his PhD. And this book does give an account how Paulo was given the credit of being a doctor. And how it was, and guys, that's not about that. Actually, the man in my world will always be a PhD holder. However, guys, you can't. This is a collection of 44 essays. 44. Like 44 essays about everything, the economy, the politics, constitution, rule of law, guys, every single thing. This man knew it. Like everything you see here, it's Paulo Jordan's work. My favorite essay is the 44th essay, the last essay in this book, where he writes about traditional leaderships. Guys, the ANC. Oh man, I do not understand how this organization of ours changed from what it was perceived to be back in the days to what it is today. But then Paulo Jordan wrote a lot of opinion pieces, wrote a lot of discussion papers, wrote a lot of materials and columns for newspapers. All of those, they are here. Some of them very short, some of them quite lengthy. Hey, there's a piece he writes about Ramaphosa here, guys, before he becomes president. And he's writing about aspiring black bourgeoisies, black capitalists. And yo, guys, you can't be a comrade and you don't have this book in your collection. If you don't have a book like this and you claim to be leadership, then guys, no, you don't love reading. You just love stories. We read these other stories. These are not stories. These are proper essay, intellectual material, and this is the best according to me. Yes, all of this is according to me. Again, it's my channel. Yes, so it's according to me, and this, according to me, is the best collection, best book of collections of essays. Guys, these are my 5 books, or my best 5 books of collections of essays, to be particular and to be precise. Next time.